त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम साई देवा. Sai Ram, everyone. Sai Ram. Thank you everybody for giving me this opportunity to talk today at the Hollywood Sai Center. When Sister Daniela first asked me to talk here, I was thinking, Swami, why are you asking me to talk? Who am I? But I am nobody to deny his orders, and I took his wish as my command. And when I look back at my life, everything that I am here today and I will be tomorrow is only because of Swami. And so my life is his message, like Swami used to say before. Earlier in his life, Swami used to say, my life is my message. He also used to sing, my life is my message. But later, a couple years, through being Sathya Sai Baba, he changed his message and said, your life is my message. And in that, his meaning was, live your life in such a way that you share my message through your life. All right, we can go to the next slide. So I want to first start by saying thanks to Mother Ishwarama. She's the Divine Mother who allowed God to take birth in the human form in this Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga mein avatar liye sakala charachara hai Bhagavan. How fortunate are we to have taken the human birth. It is one of the rarest kinds, and it is a good fortune that we are humans in this birth. And how fortunate are we to be humans and be born on earth and walk on earth at the same time that God in his human being is walking on earth as well. There is no question that this is one of our greatest fortunes. How fortunate are we to walk on earth at the same time that Baba lived in his human form and walked on earth, and to have known him as God. Brothers and sisters, everyone in this room, we have no idea what good fortune has given us this opportunity, this blessing to have known him in this avatar. No level of past karmic actions could have given us this opportunity except for his own grace and will. Sai Ram, next slide. This is my biological mother and father, Mother Srimati Vijay Lakshmi and Father Sri Narasimha. I was very lucky to be born to them in a Sai family, very fortunate. And I also have two siblings, one elder brother, one elder sister, both of whom really spoiled me but also told me that I'm adopted. But my parents told me you're adopted, but you're really a Sai child. So I was very lucky to have a very happy childhood. and have the great fortune of being born in a Sai family. But this is where the story begins as far as the best of my memory. But what I do know is that our story with Sai is not just in this birth. It is over many, many births, over many lives that we've lived, many lives that we may live, and all the lives and the deaths that are to come, and the past, and the future, and the present. He is our eternal companion, and he has been with us, is with us, and will be with us. Next slide.
You're the one with the red dress, right?
I am the one in the red dress. All right, so this is the earliest memory that my parents have told me happened, which is relevant to my life. So I was born on March 11, 1993 in Hyderabad, Telangana. And my father was working in Dindigul, which is a city in the foothills of the Kodaikanal ashram. And Swami in this car, exact car, ADA 90, on Ramanavami Day, on April 1st, 1993, drove to Dindigul and wanted to rest before he would go up to Kodaikanal. And my father was in charge of making some arrangements, and he asked Swami, in this picture, he is the one that Swami is blessing over there. He asked Swami, Adapittala puttindi Hyderabadlo, which means a girl child is born in Hyderabad. What name can I give her? Swami took a minute, probably was thinking of, oh, this is that girl who has been with me in this generation, that life over here in that avatar. And he turned around and said, Sai Prasanna ni pettu. And therefore I was named, brothers and sisters, as Sai Prasanna. Next.
What is Ani pettu?
Keep it like that.
Okay. And what is Sai Prasanna?
Sai is, everybody here knows Sai. Prasanna means happiness.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So Sai Prasanna ni pettu. Yeah. So these are not pictures of me, but a depiction of photos that I found online. But this is my second memory of my interaction with Baba in the physical form. So it is tradition in India that before you start school, that you get your first letter with the help of a teacher or a parent, someone that is revered. And for Sai devotees, obviously it is Sai Baba. So I and my mom, we go to Brindavan, and we have a slate with a chalk, and we are waiting in line for Swami to come and help us with with writing the first letter. Swami walks in, but his hands are not free. He has a bunch of letters, and he is already struggling to handle them. So he comes and he says, Ippudetla Rashedi Bangaru, which basically means, my hand, how can I write now Bangaru? Bangaru is a way Swami calls gold. He calls a lot of people Bangaru. And so he then picks up a couple of akshadam from the side from a lady that has kept it for some other reason. He picks it up and puts it on my head and says, Nalla Padi, which in Tamil, so he has shifted language. I'm both fluent in Tamil and Telugu, and only God knows that. So he said now from Telugu he switched to Tamil, and he said, study well. And dear brothers and sisters, I never wanted to study till the place that I am here today, but it was only, as I will tell you through my story, that it was only because of Swami's grace and his will that I have studied whatever I have till today. All right, next slide.
Are you the one?
I am not. So these are just for depiction. So these pictures, just going forward, I don't think people clicked as many pictures back then, which should have. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So this is, some of you must have been, I know some of you here are already familiar with Kodaikanal. You've been to Kodaikanal, you've interacted with Swami there. And for those who've not been there, this is the place that Swami is always happy and childish and playful. It's called as the divine playground among Sai devotees. And my father was the convener there at that period, somewhere between my age of 5 and 15, I believe. And we would go to Kodaikanal every year. My parents would do seva, and since we were kids, we would call ourselves pre-sevadals, and we would get small pink scarves. Like the men had blue, the women had yellow, and we would wear pink scarves and call ourselves pre-sevadals and do small seva, nothing very serious, but we would do chapel duty, water duty, and very small things like that. And it was our happy vacation. We would be happy that everybody is happy. Some people would get vibhuti, they'll come and share it with us because, they like to see small children doing seva. And it was a really fun time, good time. The best part every year would be that at the end of Swami's trip to Kodaikanal, at the end, he would give Pada Namaskaram to all the sevadals. And so we would all wait in a long line, and Swami would come, walk, and we can touch his feet as much as we can in the quick run that he does. So we were fortunate to get that. And a couple times, I think 2 times, I was happy to get sari from Swami directly. And he spoke to me saying, to my sister, he asked, pre-sevadal? And she said, yes, I am pre-sevadal. And then to me, he comes and says, Nuvu kuda cheera kattapotunava, which basically means, are you, little one, also going to wear a sari? Like, very funnily, but he said, Teesko. So take it here, take this sari. So good memories, happy times, and it is an opportunity that will never come again, but very lucky and fortunate to have had it. And I think one other takeaway from this experience is also that, it at a very early age, it imbibed the value of seva in us as children. No seva is little. Moving chapel was not little. For Swami, that was more than enough. He didn't speak to only the people that did seva in the Kulwant hall. He actually picked the little children that did not, whatever. It was not that, crucial. It was not that important, but still for Swami, it was the thought, and, he was really there to show the love and take care of us. Yeah, so one such time when we were waiting for Pada Namaskaram, a very interesting thing happened, and that was Swami. We were all sitting in a line waiting for Swami to come from the other end. I am on the corner of this line, I'm the far end. Swami is walking from this far end, and as he comes, we meet eye to eye, very far away. But we meet eye to eye, and when I saw Swami, my happiness just knew no bounds, and I burst into this big 10 minutes of laughter that didn't have any stop. And for no reason at all. There was no inner joke, there was no meaning, there was just pure bliss, and it was a connection that just was the meaning for Ananda for me in my life. And that set the standards for my goal in life. Because a lot of people think happiness lies in X, Y, Z, and I am also not immune to thinking like that, but Swami's laughter when I see that, and that moment when I reminisce, it really sets the tone for me and reminds me that that is really what is pure bliss.
Did he catch you laughing?
He did.
Yeah. Tell that story.
Right, yeah. And everybody,
He laughed back, right?
he did for a long time. And everybody, all the sevadals, after the, Pada Namaskaram ended, they were asking me, what was the joke? What was going on? Why were you laughing? We were not looking at Swami. Like, it's a lot of hustle.
How old were you at that?
I'm not 100% sure, but I must have been somewhere between my 5th grade and
8 or 9 years.
8 or 9 years perhaps, yeah. Next one, yeah. One such time my mother also asked Swami to bless some earrings so that we can get the first ceremony of piercing the ears done, and with that earring Swami blessed. I got ear pierced at the Gayatri temple. It is a picture where you can see me crying. My father and couple of other gentlemen are holding me because the guy who came to pierce my ear, he came with his old tools. They were so big, and I just got scared and I was like started crying. But it's a good memory outside the Gayatri temple. So in childhood, I was a Balavikas student. Was very lucky to grow up in an environment where, that was not ridiculed. It was, appreciated. And I had school friends who would also come to Balavikas. I would bring them to Balavikas, and their parents would come to bhajans. And so it was really a very easy. Swami definitely made my childhood very easy and a happy one. I went to all the sevas that my parents would go to, so I would have gone to the buttermilk seva that we do in summer. We do Baba's bhajans in a very grand way. I think over there on the left is a picture from when we went to the leper village, which is a village where a lot of people who have leprosy are just sitting in one place because they are outcasted by the society, and so they end up moving from different places of the neighborhood to live in those villages. And we have done seva there as well. We've adopted that city. We used to do grama seva, and we used to do some seva at Puttaparthi as well. And our childhood in that sense was very, in one with Sai and Balvika student. We would learn all the shlokas. We would have the blessings of our Guru. They would try to teach us Vedas. This also made my school life easy. School life was a cakewalk because in terms of being a good child, there was no question. Swami had already said that right for us. And in terms of having the fear for exams, that's the biggest problem of children, right? Like they're always afraid of exams. I had none of those because I always had equanimity. I knew that Swami is there with me. And my friends' parents would see me at bhajans the day before my exams. They would tell their kids, hey, you have to be like Sai, why are you so scared? Come for bhajans. And Swami gave me that confidence very early on in life, to have that confidence that whatever it is, Swami will take care. Next. So it wasn't up until my adolescence that I feel like I took my first step towards God, which was turning into a vegetarian. I had grown up in a family where my parents were vegetarians because of being Sai devotees, but my grandparents, rest of the extended family, it wasn't the case because they would still consume meat which was normal for them to consume. And at one point in high school, I just thought this doesn't seem right and this doesn't bring me closer to Swami, and I made that step that I would only eat vegetarian food. And this was, as far as I remember, my first real step that was a little hard to take towards God. And Swami says, when you take one step towards me, I'll take 1,000 towards you. That's the next slide. Yes. So that is a picture of Swami being the divine doctor. And that's what happened to me. Medical school was never in my dream, never in my plan. I wanted to be a physicist. I was awed by physics, and I thought biology was boring. But Swami had different plans, and I became a biology topper by accident, and I ended up going to medical school. No regrets going into it because it is the biggest opportunity for seva every day, every second in my life. But it was only because of Swami's grace, and I purely think there were so many things that had to align for me to be a doctor at that point. And I will not go into the details of it, but it was purely because of Swami that I went into medical school at that point. So medical school was not easy. A lot of reading to do. And not much analytical thinking or solving as you would have your school days to be. This was all just learning about the body. And the body, human body, is very, very complex. And there's so much information to take in and to remember and to write that in exam. So the one thing that I would do through medical school was every day I would have this time at 7 p.m. where I would do puja to Swami. I would do my own half an hour of bhajans followed by meditation, talking to Swami. And I had this routine, be it exam day or if it's like a vacation, it did not matter. If I was in the hostel, I was doing it. So my friends noticed it. There were a couple of people from other rooms that would also wait outside. They would see me praying and doing all this bhajan, and everybody noticed it. And I think some people thought, oh, this foolish girl, what is she doing before exams? They must have thought that, because one person came and told me when I passed my exams, right after checking, she said, right after checking that I passed my exam, the next person that I looked was yours. Because I didn't believe that you prepared very well. And I wanted to know if you had passed. And that was not just a one-time thing. Swami, through the hotline that I kept, it was always going, constant integrated awareness. This was a period where I was away from family, and with this daily intense routine prayer, there was a connection with Swami that was unbreakable. I could talk to him, and there were times when I would ask Swami questions, and he would give that answer to me immediately in some form or the other. Either someone would ask me to come and open a book where a Sai student has asked the same question and Swami has given me the answer. And this happened to the point where I started feeling powerful. Like, what is this Swami? Like, some things were just like, once I prayed to Swami for a friend that had failed a couple of exams, prayed to Swami, and I opened a couple of pages and I said, hey, read XYZ questions. You're going to get that in your exam paper. And believe it or not, the same questions were in the exam paper. And this was not because of me, because at that point you totally become an instrument of God, and if you, with all earnest and good heart, wish for someone else, it will happen. And the same thing has happened with me and my friends once, and it's not once or twice, but it's like a recurrent thing. So, but for example, like one of our first year exams is a lot to study, and there's 5 books for this one paper. But 1.5 years you study for that paper, and there's no time to revise or concise all the things that you learn. And you just have to answer everything on that one day in a 3-hour exam paper. And we had read some of these things previously, but there was no way that we had time to go back and read all of that. And I had just, after my prayers to Swami, I had asked him to give me I had thrown a couple of chits to him and said, Swami, I have no other option. You have to save me here, otherwise I'm going to fail these exams. In a desperation, asked him. And lo and behold, he picks one question. One chick goes there. That is the exact question paper, which is the 5-mark question paper, which means it's the most important question and the one that's weighted the most in that whole exam paper. Swami's ways are so great that that person that was outside her bhajans, listening to my bhajans outside my room, she said, your God must be great. And my friend, there you can see, that is my very close friend from medical school, Deepika. And she had gone through a lot of ups and downs through medical school, and with Swami's help, she had become a Sai devotee as well. And Swami really helped her get through things through medical school. And that's the beauty of Swami. When you have that hotline, when you keep that connection going, he is always listening to you, ready to answer to you. We just need to show that yearning to him, and he is immediately available. All right. We are running out of time, I think, so 10 minutes? Okay. So post-graduation, that is me in Puttaparthi during a seva. That's also in the International Medical Camp in Puttaparthi. This is in the Whitefield Hospital, that is in the Kulwant Hall for a leadership program. But post-graduation, I was trying to do some seva before undergoing more training. And next slide. And my plan was to eventually at some point work for Swami in his Whitefield or his Puttaparthi hospital. Next slide. So that's what happens when you plan, God laughs. And so I was,
That's great.
yeah. So I had asked Swami, okay, Rah dikhao Baba, I don't know, show me the way, what should I do next? And at that point, can we go to the next slide? Yeah, at that point I was going to the mobile hospital seva in Chennai, and it was a regular thing. And one of the days I had told Swami, I think you are hinting that I would go to the US, but I need a good confirmation. It was never my dream to come here. Didn't have the American dream. I didn't want to leave my home. My family was there. I didn't have any family here. And I was like, Swami, is this real? Is this really what you want me to do? I need to know for sure. And during the bhajans, before the camp would start, I asked Swami, if you let a flower fall from your photo during the time that I sing the bhajan, then I will know that you have blessed me to go to US. Otherwise, I'll not submit the applications. I had everything ready, but I said I'm not going to submit because I need to know for sure that this is not just in my head. And I had forgotten about it because during the bhajans, I just remembered my father's word that you cannot test God once you have accepted him as the guru. Like, don't keep these tests to God. That's a very bad thing to do, he said. So that came back to my mind, and I said, cancel that. We're not doing it anymore. You don't have to drop the flower. I'll figure it out somehow. But the bhajans ended, I went out, and one doctor came to me and she said, hey Sai Prasanna, hey Sai Prasanna. I said, yes, Sai Ram, what's going on? And she said, here, take this flower that fell when you sang the bhajan. And the funny part was, when I had made that request in my mind, there were no flowers because the person that was supposed to bring the flowers had not arrived yet. And at some point during my bhajan, someone had brought it and Swami had kept it, and this happened. And immediately she asked me, so did you decide about going to the US? And I said, there you go. You just gave me the answer, so I guess I'm going. So it was his divine will, and it was my spiritual experiment, as I believe it, because it was completely blind faith. I had nothing else. I didn't know what it was, what it meant, to be honest. I just knew that Swami wanted this, so I took a flight, came here. Next slide. So if you see in the middle picture a gentleman in white t-shirt, that's Arjun uncle. He lives in Philadelphia, in South Jersey actually. And somehow Swami made sure that when I was in a Puttaparthi camp, his daughter came and spoke to me and got my details, and Swami just made things work, and he said, hey, you're going to Philadelphia, I don't care. I'm going to come from Jersey, pick you up and drop you off where you need to. And he didn't just come to pick me up and drop me off. He made sure that the place that I rented seemed okay. And it did not to his eyes. And he said, this is not a good situation because one person had not signed the lease, blah, blah, blah. So he decided that I was not going to stay in that apartment. And this was the second lease that I had made. And the third lease was going to be the place that I would stay. And that was only because of this uncle, Arjun uncle. And the importance of this story is because that's how I met my husband. The last place that I ended up staying, my neighbor was Ishan. We can go to the next slide. So we got married in 2023 January, and it was Swami's grace that this happened. And this would not have happened without his grace at all. This is a picture of Ishan outside the Satya temple in Puttaparthi doing seva. And that one is in our home where one of our Samiti members is giving us a photo of Swami. And the picture on the right most is me wearing Swami's gifted sari, if you remember from the childhood, in the morning of my wedding day. And the beauty of this is that none of this was planned, none of this was expected, but you just have to believe and trust in God. And He has the whole life written out. He has all your life written and planned to the minutest detail. Just have to trust Him and let Him do what He wants.
Were you Sai already?
No.
No.
No. He was very aligned with seva and helping people in other ways. And definitely that is how we found that common ground. So I will not go into the details, but it was only through Swami's grace. It was a very impossible thing for someone from my medical school, we were only the second batch, it was not of a great reputation, to go into a program for residency, which was one of the most well-known in the country in New York City. And it was only through Baba's grace that I got in there. That was me on my first day of residency with Swami taking a picture. And my learning from that was, honestly, nothing is impossible when God wills. And when you impress God, you've impressed the whole world. That's what it is. Yeah. So residency was not very easy. There were easy days, tough days. It was almost 4 months. In January, it was 4 months since I had a touch of sunlight on my face. Literally going to work at 5 or 6 a.m. and coming back when it's after sunset and not having any sunrise on my face. This was also during COVID. And this picture on the left is a picture that was taken when I had to transport a COVID patient who was really sick that they couldn't be sent just with nursing and transport. But I happened to catch 5 seconds of sunlight in that period and I clicked the picture to remember that. And at that point, I felt the reason that it was one of the lowest points in my life because it was just work, go home, sleep, work, go home, sleep. It was a very routine where I didn't get a chance to, be in touch with Baba as much as I would have liked. But that's why I put the song Sai Bhajana Bina Sukha Shanti Nahi, and that's so true. And all the times that I sing the song, I just remember that without God, if I ever forget Him in my life, at any point, my life becomes automatically miserable. So with God, the beauty and the bliss, and without God, the misery. It's a stark contrast. The same situation, but with those differences, the difference is really just Baba for me. This is a picture of Swami talking to a patient and just reminds me every time when I am in a difficult situation or when I am with a patient, I just remember, look at Swami, his loving face, the care with which he seems to be asking something of the patient. And this is what I think, Swami. I need to be like Swami, like the care and the love and how intently he is listening to the patient's problem. That is what I like to do through residency. If you remember the song, Din dukhiyon se prem karo, mera Sai Prasanna hoga. So Swami will be really happy when we take care of people that are vulnerable, people that are in distress. And when we are in a position to give, if we are able to do our best to them, Swami will be very happy. And service to mankind is service to God. And that's something that I was fortunate to be able to do during residency, I think. And I used to think in residency, different people have different career goals. For some people, it's very easy to choose their next step in their career, like fellowship, because they think that a particular fellowship has good work-life balance, or it pays them well, or there's already their parents or family is in that line. But for me, it was Swami's speech in I think the Whitefield Hospital inauguration address, where he talks about how different doctors look at the human body in different pieces. And there is a right heart specialist, there is a left heart specialist, and how we all don't, coordinate with each other and don't see the human body as one. And that helped me, listening to that helped me in picking my super specialty as well. And critical care is one such super specialty, which really, it's both, I'm doing a dual specialty, which is both lung as well as critical care, but the critical care part really takes care of everything together. So if a cardiologist says, put the patient on a blood thinner, and the gastroenterologist says, patient has bleeding, don't do it, we are the ones seeing this body as one and really trying to see what the patient wants. And he guided me in that sense as well. So, next slide. But anyway, in very short terms, this is, after his guidance, I applied for fellowship because I knew this is what Swami wanted, and I had not prepared really well for applying in terms of getting my letters of recommendation or anything, but again, the only recommendation you need from is Swami. And that worked, and I again matched in my top choice, which was a very unbelievable moment for us. I had interviewed in like 20 plus places, but I told Swami, anywhere between 2 to the 22 place was seeming as a possibility, but number one choice was all over on the other coast where none of my attendings had any connections, nobody knew anyone, and nobody in my program had ever gone to Cedars Sinai, and so it was just an unbelievable, impossible option. But I had told Swami, if Cedars Sinai happens, Swami, that is a pure miracle. That is the only possibility, because they don't even take, my program has not taken immigrants before, they haven't taken someone from New York City in my program before. And that was my thing to Swami, and lo and behold, he wants to do miracles, and he sent me here, and I am purely grateful to Swami. I will be very honest and say that I am zero qualified to have come here, but Swami says, with Swami you are a hero, without Swami you are a zero. And Swami made me a hero, I guess. So, on the day that I matched, Swami dropped the mala in our home. And that is something that keeps happening. Every time bhajans, Swami, right at the time he drops the mala at our home, and anything, any good news, he drops mala. He tells that, I am doing this for you. Know that. Next slide. Yeah. So, so this last slide, I will just end by saying that in my fellowship, in critical care especially, in this world, there's a lot of times when people are anxious, they freak out because bad things happen very quickly and you have to respond very quickly, and sometimes it's luck, sometimes bad things just happen. But the one thing that has allowed me to be equanimous through these situations is just knowing that I am His instrument, and this is all a divine play, and this is not me doing anything but just God doing everything. And with God, there is no fear, and you can be cool as a cucumber. You can see how Swami is looking very cool on the picture on the left, on the right, yeah. The human body, it's left, so that's the confusion, but picture on the right. So that's everything. This story is for another time, but thank you everyone for giving me this opportunity. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram.